I'm not here to give any sort of technical presentation. This is something slightly different. This is more the management committee updates for NetUK3, looking a little bit backwards over the last 12 months and then looking forwards to the next couple of years, so to give everybody a bit of an update. So obviously, I've been to NetUK1 and NetUK2. What you see today is the culmination of the 12 months of hard work from the organising committees and the management committee. So thank you very much to my colleagues from Links and LONAP, and especially Dave, for putting in the hard yards over the last year to deliver the event. So, as you will see, we've grown our community year on year. We started obviously with sort of essentially a fresh field to plough, had to make our own way through it all. But you know, the committees are now working well, and each year we run the event, it's actually getting easier to do this. So we're getting more into our stride. The relationships between the people and the organising committee are now really strong, good teamwork, and from our perspective, it has not been too stressful, which is what we like in an event organisation. This should be boringly, reassuringly competent and organised, no drama. So, as you know, the three non-profits, so Nominet, Links and LONAP, together with PTX, we provide the human capital in terms of we're staffers on the non-profits, and we spend some of our time dedicated towards this event for the community. So I'm paid for by Nominet, but I spend some of my time on Nominet's dollar organising events and helping with the non-technical part of the presentations and the logistics, making sure the teas and coffees and food's good and the event booking recognises when we turn up and the Wi-Fi is good and stuff like that. It is important that we have the confidence of our sponsors. It's important that the thing is financially sustainable. So we keep an eye on that sort of stuff in terms of the overall good governance. We were very, very pleased this year that we were able to support RIPE financially with a sponsorship package. So that comes with sustainable financial footing and some stability there. It's really important for the UK network infrastructure community that we're there and able to do that. And it's not a lot of money in the scheme of things, but it's important in terms of a statement of our intent and what we're here for to do exactly that sort of sponsorship event. Important to support the regions, and great that RIPE was in the UK. So, as you can see, although I say it's important for transparency that everybody in the room can come and ask me or any other member of the management committee sort of searching questions around why did you do this or why did you do that, and we don't like the branding or whatever. But we seem to have got quite a thin attendance, so I'm not sure whether that's deliberate or not. But we are working well, and it's important that everybody here, even if you're just sort of nodding off, it's important that we come here and present the figures, okay? Because if we don't have your trust and confidence and at least are here to be questioned, then we've got to ask ourselves, are we standing up to the transparency and scrutiny of our community? And we need to take our community with us on this journey. So, because I'm a lawyer and good with the words and stuff, they get me to present the financial thing as a little joke, I think. So what this is supposed to show you is that if you look at the top line in terms of the expenses actually went slightly down. That's because we booked this event on a 2-year package, so we got a good deal on it for the second year having booked it, so we made a 2-year commitment. We have just made a commitment for years 4 and 5 in the same venue, but if any of you looked at sort of prices in London, like hotels and stuff, inflation, it turns out, is not zero, and so there is an increase even after some tough negotiation with the venue here. It's going to be more expensive in years 4 and 5, but again, we do a 2-year package to get the best value for money that we possibly can. You'll see here the marketing seems to have gone up a lot, and that's partly to do with some marketing expenses from NetUK3, which didn't make the cut for last year's figures being put into this year, and that's also where the RIPE NCC sponsorship comes in, so that's why there's a big jump there, if there's any questions about that. But I think everybody agrees that's the right thing for us to do, and if people disagree with that, then talk to other members of the management committee, not me. No, but seriously, if people disagree with those sorts of decisions or agree with them, then tell us, because without feedback, then we're operating in a little bit of a vacuum. So we want to take you with us on this journey. If you think we should be doing more of that, less of something else, then that's also good information, and we can do that. We are trying to please you guys. We're trying to make you happy with a good event and to deliver or over-deliver on your expectations. So as you can see, the total expenditure has gone up quite a lot from year 2 to year 3. But pleasingly, you can see that the sponsorship's gone up slightly and the ticket sales have gone up slightly, which contribute to increased income. So expenses have gone up, income's gone up slightly. There's a net surplus of about 15 grand. And you can see that the total kitty is now 92, but we do need that because we need a bit of a float to sign the contract for next year's venue booking, pay 50% of the thing in advance. That's the normal way of things. So you'd need to have some cash flow there to be able to plan next year's event in confidence. So that is on the figures. As you can see, Nominet, LONAP, and Links each put in 25 grand. So that's 75 grand. So you can quickly see that, well, we did make a surplus of 15-ish. So without that 75, it would be negative 60. It probably costs getting close to £1,000 per attendee in terms of the total cost divided by the number of attendees. So £100 of that comes from the ticket sale. So you can see that there's a very, very, very substantial discount on the actual cost. So, we're trying to balance up sustainability, financial viability, value. I think having run events where we've tried to make it as accessible as possible by having it free, people didn't value it, and we had lots of cancellations or no-shows on the day, and that causes another lot of logistical difficulties for the organisers. So, but we're very open to feedback about how things have gone, and we're very pleased, obviously, with all the volunteer time, particularly on the content, the substantive part of it. So people like me, my job is to make sure that the event is smooth and the logistics and the content people don't have to worry about the teas and coffees and securities and badges and stuff done right. And just briefly then, what's next? So we did support RIPE in Edinburgh. We have talked since day 0 of NetUK1 about how to have more regional participation. This is a sort of a recurring difficulty, I think, around participation, access, cost, fairness, attendance numbers, frankly. Having organised things in Scotland and Wales, I found that the local communities for which these were designed didn't show up in the way that was planned, and it was just basically folks who could have made it to London going to Cardiff and Edinburgh and Manchester. So, but we do want to be Net UK, not Net London. So whether we can do some sort of smaller local branding around regional Yorkshire, northern parts of England and Scotland and Wales, Northern Ireland, really important. So that is still sort of work in progress, and if there's any suggestions as to how to successfully pull those off, we'd be very receptive to that. And particularly if you're helping volunteer to contribute to them, that's even better. We are going to help, going to get some more help on the marketing side. So one of my colleagues at Nominet in the marketing team has been doing some of our promotion and socials, but we want to get a dedicated contractor to boost that. I think anybody who's involved in these sorts of events knows it's a hard ask. It's a lot of work, and it does need some dedicated resource, but we will do that now we have the money in the bank to commit to it. As I said, we've committed to the brewery here for the next 2 events. I think you'll agree it's quite an agreeable venue. It sort of feels like Goldilocks, not too big, plenty of space. There's areas where you can work. It's pretty convenient, and the event staff, I think, have been absolutely lovely and very easy to work with, which makes it a lot of difference. If we look around, we don't appear to be sort of stressed and pulling our hair out. So it's a sort of a tricky balance. We've tried to steer a path with sort of responsible guardianship, I guess, from the non-profits, but we've tried to do it on a financially sustainable basis with a bit of commercial discipline around trying to get value for money and spending money in the right places for the right sorts of things. But it's not a popularity contest sometimes organising these sorts of events, and we're big enough and bad enough to take your feedback and to try and respond to it. But usually if you accommodate something in one direction, then that I nearly said something naughty there. That just aggravates someone in the other corner. So you've got to understand that we are trying to please everybody, and sometimes you have to make unpopular decisions. But that's kind of our role, and so long as we're here and explain you why we've done things in a particular way, and I don't think we want to be defensive about it, but there's always room for improvement, and crowdsourcing good ideas from the community is what we are here and receptive for. So, you can ask us anything. My colleagues on the management committee, oh God, some of these photos look like they're pre-COVID. Anyway, so just ask us what you like, and what's the capital of Peru? Anyway, and especially a big thank you to all of our wonderful sponsors who help to make the event so engaging and productive for everybody. I hope it's been good. There is time for questions, and if I can't answer them, then I'm sure one of my colleagues on the management committee will be able to answer them. Steve, you got a question? Oh, thank God. But it's important, right? And we're always accessible. You can contact us by email. We're pretty responsive, or try to be pretty responsive. Oh.
Kathy Allman from...
I feel like I'm being interviewed by the Gestapo with the lights here, but please introduce yourself and speak.
Not a sensible question. Kathy Allman from ISC. What is the capital of Peru?
La Paz, isn't it? Oh. I've actually been to Lima, but La Paz is much nicer. Yes, sir.
Hi, Nick. It's really good to see all of that, because with my PC hat on, I only see the content bit, so to see all the stuff on the other side is still interesting. I'll ask you the question that I'm going to be asking a whole bunch of people, which is, if you could pick one, what would be a talk that you would love to see at NetUK3? What do you think is, the quintessential, interesting NetUK talk that you'd like to see?
Oh, that is a great question. And I think it's a mixed ability class, isn't it, right? Because you've got people like me who have worked in the industry for a long time, but on the non-technical side. And you've got people who've worked in the industry in the deeply technical areas. I think one of the objectives for me, kind of personally, is around capacity building. So I think trying to get people engaged on the youth side, some of us are not getting any younger, right? So to try and get more enthusiasm and belief in a future career in the industry, so some sort of something which stimulates motivation and enthusiasm to join the community. So to make it fun, make it technically interesting, because it's like the geeky aspect of it is super interesting. All this routing in the BGP and the AS numbers and all that stuff, you can work in the industry and you don't really touch that stuff on the engineering side. So I think something which engages or sparks a passion for that sort of thing, and it doesn't have to be noddy level. It can be quite, because people are not stupid, it can be quite quite technical in content, but just like it's catching the essence of how interesting some of the actual internet engineering stuff is, how clever it is, and yet how quirky some of the things are. I think that for me is what I enjoy most about the presentations.
I think a lot of people would share that. And I will say, whilst I'm stood in front of a microphone, if anybody does have opinions on what the PC should be receiving or encouraging, please do come and tell me, or any of my other PC colleagues. Thank you, Nick.
Thank you very much. There is more time, but there is also less time. But yeah, thank you very much for your attendance and engagement. And it's like boring, but kind of important that this sort of stuff goes on. And it's important for transparency that we're completely frank with you about what's gone on and how the community's money has been spent, hopefully responsibly. Thank you.